join us as we follow the moon. Today we are going across the longest bridge in the world. This is a bridge that goes across Lake Pontchartrain. We're staying up on the North Shore at Abita Springs, and we're heading down to spend the day at New Orleans, and we wanted to take you with us. But we wanted to have an opportunity to show you this bridge. It's 25 miles long, and the southbound lanes that we're in right now were built in the 1950s. The northbound lanes were built in the 1960s. So enjoy the ride with us, and hope you have fun with us today in New Orleans.
Thanks.
Now we're going to start our day in New Orleans with what makes New Orleans so special, and that is the end of the Mississippi River. And it's the mighty Mississippi, and it's the muddy Mississippi also.
That's right.
But beautiful riverfront, and these are the doors that seal off the low part of the city, hopefully seal it off from water. Just inside those doors is Cafe du Monde. This is at the tip of the French Market and one of the most famous things in the city. They are known for their chicory coffee and their beignets. So we had to partake. It is cash only, so come prepared. You can either have a seat or you can go to their order window and take your order with you. This was the employees getting ready to take big orders out to the tables. And this is a beignet. I'm shaking off some of the powdered sugar and it's still coated with it. They are French donuts, no hole in the center, and they're just as light as can be. Right beside that is the Joan of Arc Maid of Orleans statue. One of the most iconic things that you see in the city, this gold statue. And directly across the street from Cafe du Monde, the architecture down there, the wrought iron, you know you're in New Orleans. All of these horse-drawn carriages, and they go all out with their carriages. Take a look at this setup. Everything purple. Right behind the carriages is the big wrought iron fence, and this is where the local art vendors come out and sell their wares. When you go through the gates of that wrought iron fence, you're in Jackson Square. Jackson Square is one of the most historic parks in New Orleans. Beautiful green space. The green space itself is not pet friendly, so be prepared if you're looking for grass. That's not the place to take them. And at the back side of Jackson Square is the St Louis Cathedral. Now, Pope John Paul II did pay a visit to this cathedral. They also have a statue of him out front. And we wanted to give you just a little bit of a view of what it looks like inside this old historic cathedral. The ceiling is absolutely amazing.
This was actually the third time that the building was built. The first one was wood and fell apart. The second one, I believe, burned.
This particular one has been around, I believe, since 1732, and that's a list of all of the rectors of the church. They've now started another tablet over there. Now, you talk about street art, that's turning yourself into a piece of street art there.
Right.
But the architecture up and down the streets, it's New Orleans. Now, we're going to make a stop here at Central Grocery. This is the home of the original muffaletta sandwich that has the olive salad on it and the special bread. That building is under reconstruction. It still is hurricane damage from 2021, and they just got the main beam replaced in it. But the sandwiches are still there and still available next door at Sydney's. Now we're going to move on down along. On the right is the French market. More shops down the left. I love those balconies. It's a little plaza as you come down along there. And then you come to the main part of the French market there on Decatur Street. Now, along the first part of the French market, there's a lot of food vendors along the right-hand side that are permanent stands in there. A lot of the other stands along the left, I assume, will rotate out. But it's full of people.
Yeah, a visit to New Orleans would not be right without coming down here.
That's right. And anything and everything, you can find it there in the historic French market. Now, you can't think of the French Quarter of New Orleans without thinking of Bourbon Street. And Bourbon Street during the daytime is very different than Bourbon Street at night. It was still pretty tame while we were there.
I was going to say, I think it's a party 24/7.
Open carry laws in New Orleans. You can pick up a beverage and take it with you throughout the town.
And they do.
A lot. There's a lot of daiquiri bars. I noticed that, the frozen drinks. But look at the architecture. Yes, I love the wrought iron and everything, but there's a lot of older wood-faced buildings there too. And you think about the floods that those buildings have seen over the years that they've been standing.
Oh yeah.
Now next up is the Superdome. The last time we were in New Orleans, it was Mercedes. Now it's Caesars sponsors the Superdome. But that is still, as long as the Superdome has been around, that is still one of the most spaceship-looking buildings.
Yes, it is.
Parking underground or ground level, I guess, all the way around the building, because there really isn't a whole lot of open area to park anywhere else.
That's right.
Now, this was something we had not seen before. It's the New Orleans Katrina Memorial. And this is not your typical memorial. This is on the site of the Charity Hospital Cemetery. The gates are closed, but they just push open, go right on in. And there are 6 sections that each have 18 tombs. And these were for the people who had lost their lives in Katrina and were unknown who they were, and nobody ever claimed them.
Yeah.
So this was created for their memory and to house their remains. It is shaped like Hurricane Katrina. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yes.
So it's not only a memorial, but it is also the final resting place for those who were never identified.
Right.
Now, just beyond that, this one corner has the Cypress Grove Cemetery, Greenwood Cemetery just across that street, and across the corner on the right is the Oddfellows Cemetery. All the cemeteries in New Orleans are above ground because most of the land is below sea level. And some of these, this is a very old looking cemetery, but I did see inscriptions on one of the graves as recent as February of 2023. So it's definitely still in use. Some of the markers have crumbled, some are being repaired, and some are still standing proud.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the trolley system through the town, the one trolley line ends right here where these three cemeteries are. And if you've never walked the cemeteries of New Orleans, they really do tell a tale of the city.
Oh, they do.
It's definitely worth your time to go see this, even if that's not something you normally do on your outings. It's definitely worth it. It's a whole different world. Now this is one of our favorite places. We've been telling everybody we were coming back. Willie Mae's Scotch House. It was an old Scotch bar in the back, and they now have some of the best fried chicken and Southern cooking you've ever had. They were closed while we were there, and they didn't reopen until the day we were leaving. So just a few blocks away, we found this place called Sweet Soulfood. Also very highly rated on TripAdvisor. Didn't realize until I got there that it was vegan. So, well, this is something else new to try.
It was good.
You can get 2, 3, or 4 items. I think 4 items was $14.99. So very inexpensive. Very good Southern cooking. We had the mac and cheese. We had the hot and spicy cauliflower bites, collard greens, and red beans and rice, and that cornbread was out of this world. The mac and cheese was made with cashew instead of cheese. Everything was delicious.
Definitely will go back.
Yeah, I think it surprised us how good everything was. And there was more than what the two of us could finish off for lunch, but it was gone that same night.
That's right.
Now next up, we always bring the food to go with us, and we come to the New Orleans Museum of Art, which is at the New Orleans City Park. And the park is beautiful.
It sure is.
Very peaceful. There's a nice park area in front of the museum. And then as we go to leave, we'll show you what's behind the museum. But the park is very well kept and very well used. It's always busy. Kind of in the middle of the property is the art museum. It was a beautiful day. We wanted to be outside enjoying the out of doors. And so instead of going into the art museum, we spent our time in the park, and we spent our time over in this area, which I'm not sure if it's new since we were in New Orleans the last time or if we just had never seen it, but it's a sculpture garden. And we're going to take a walk through. This is by no means all of the items in the sculpture garden because we wouldn't be able to fit them all in one video.
That's right.
But I kept a few of what were kind of the outstanding, unusual, memorable pieces, and just put them in here as short clips. This thing was cool.
Yes, it was.
They're all triangular and they're all mirrored, so you can see yourself and you can see the other people inside it, outside it. This bridge I thought was neat. It's all glass, but it's all painted on the underside. And it's mixed with the nature that's been there for years. That huge big tree, you kind of have to duck to get under that one limb. This little bridge with no side rails. Be sure to take small children by the hand. I thought that was unique.
Yes, those trees were quite a bit as much the art as the artwork.
Yeah, and the way the art is mixed with it.
Yeah.
This lower limb, if you look, it looks like it goes down and goes underground, and then it comes right back up over there. Some of the pieces are enormous. That was probably 14 foot tall. That one was tall and skinny. And if you have to have a walkway that goes under the bridge, this is the neatest thing.
Yeah.
Because you're actually walking lower than the water. That's the whole basis of New Orleans. How fitting.
Yes.
Built below sea level. You can watch the ducks' feet paddling as they come over to sea.
Yeah, at your eye level. That was creepy.
Yeah, it was. That was a bronze sculpture, but each piece looked like wood. I love the giant safety pin. This was one of my two favorites. It's all made up of different letters. And again, there's water, there's reflections. It's a beautiful part. That's all metal violins.
That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. This was my other favorite. I thought that was really cool.
I thought this was pretty cool.
It made for a nice, peaceful walk. When we were done, we took a drive through the back part. This canopy of oaks is amazing. Well, Cathy, what did you think about our day in New Orleans?
I've always loved New Orleans. It's just such a beautiful and amazing place.
It is, and it's one of those you kind of have to have a little understanding as far as the history of it and how it was built to really understand the interior courtyards and why the trash is setting along the street is that's the back of their homes. So
It's a city of survival.
it is. And it's amazing the resiliency that there is here. You see what they went through with Katrina and with some of these other storms, and they bounced back. And the city actually looks stronger now than I've ever seen it.
It does.
Well, with that, we hope you've enjoyed our time here today. If you have, leave us a thumbs up. We sure appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so and ring that notification bell, and that way you'll never miss one of our upcoming videos.
And as always, thank you for following us as we follow the moon.
Thanks for watching today.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel.
And be sure to ring the notification bell so you'll know when new videos come out.
Don't forget to follow us on social media too.